Good morning, everyone. It's Friday, and I'm gonna do a Q&A today. So I had some people write on comments, on my Facebook. So I'm gonna answer those questions, and then I'm probably not gonna post over the weekend because we're gonna be super, super, super busy. I'm getting the kids' Easter pictures done this weekend, and then Maple Syrup Festival's tomorrow. So who knows what's gonna happen? But well, Clay had a bad night last night, and yeah, we were up from about 3 to 4. She was screaming again. I hope this is not starting what I think is starting, so let's keep our fingers crossed about that. But I'm gonna start the Q&A. So, one question I got asked, I have them written down because I'm gonna forget. Sorry, I'm not looking at the camera. What went through your mind when she was diagnosed? Well, probably the first thing that went through my mind was I knew, and then anger. I was really, really, really angry. I was angry at the fact that I did everything right during my pregnancy. I ate good, I exercised, I was walking constantly. I was so angry because I knew people who were pregnant around the same time that I was, and they would just gorge out on food. You're pregnant, you're kind of whatever, I guess you're supposed to. But they were smoking during their entire pregnancy, they were drinking, and I'm like, what? And their children are perfectly neurotypical. And here's Chloe. I tried to do everything right during my pregnancy. I took my vitamins, I went to the doctors, I exercised, I ate nothing but fruits and vegetables and fish and everything, and here she is and comes out with autism. Nonverbal autism is that fact. And I was so mad. Like, what did she do to deserve this? And I was mad at, probably, I shouldn't have been mad, but I was mad at other people's kids, I guess you could say, because, they're fine. Like, and they were smoking during their entire pregnancy and drinking and not taking care of their bodies, and their children are fine, and I did everything right, and my child has autism. Like, what did I do wrong? And I blame myself for a long time that I'm the one that gave her autism. Like, it was my fault. And I beat myself down about it. But now I've come to realize that, it wasn't my fault. There was nothing I could do about it. And she was going to have autism, and there's nothing we could do. But then what else went through my mind was probably fear for her. Like, what her whole life has changed and what's about to happen, and when she gets older, this is a lifelong illness and a mental disorder. So, you see things on television all the time about autism, and these kids are just having these, horrible, just lashing out and biting and kicking and punching. And I'm like, that's not my Chloe. That can't happen to her. Like, but she's done these things, and a fear of mine was, is this gonna get worse as she gets older? Like, yeah, she's she's going through early intervention at the time she was, and we're getting her all the therapy we can possibly give her without her completely draining herself. But is this gonna get worse? Like, is this just the beginning of this horrible life that she's about to have? Like, and then I was sad. I was sad for her that I knew she wouldn't be able to enjoy things that other kids enjoy in the same way. Like going to birthday parties. Like, she doesn't, she has friends at school in her class, but, she doesn't have any friends. And that's probably what breaks my heart the most. We don't go over people's houses, and she doesn't get invited anywhere to birthday parties and stuff. And that's probably what breaks my heart the most, is that, she can't say, oh, hey, so-and-so called, can I go over? Or I'm gonna go play with so-and-so down the street, because she's different. She doesn't talk, and there's things that get in the way of her playing with other kids. Oh, I don't care. She would rather run up and down rocks back and forth multiple times than go play with somebody. She wants to be by herself, and that's probably what broke my heart the most at the time. Now it's been a few years, we've come to accept it. There's like 4 cardinals in my front yard. Sorry. But, oh my god. But, sorry. Get distracted. But, yeah, that's probably what broke my heart the most. And, we've dealt with it since then. And I know there's probably going to be other challenges that are going to come with age, such as things that have to deal with friends and whatnot. But, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. We'll adapt like we always have. So, alright. Next question. Do I have one go-to tip, trick, or bargaining to get her to calm down and focus at the task at hand? Well, when she first started TSS, it took us probably 2 months just to get her to sit in a chair and to sit there and focus on a task. So she's in ABA therapy, and think of it as Pavlov's dog, I guess you could say. You do the task, you get rewarded. You do the task, you get rewarded. So what we would do, we would set a timer. And we do this to this day. This is what she does to this day. We set a timer, say for 5 minutes. The timer goes off. She knows that timer is her timer to sit down in her chair. She sits down in her chair. She works. At the time, she was only working for like 4 minutes at a time, maybe 3 minutes at a time. Now she goes up to 30. So she's come a long way. Once the timer goes off from that, she knows that's my time to have a break. I get rewarded with a break, or I get rewarded with, doing something fun. So it's basically you do the task, you get a reward, which her reward usually, like, she loves to eat, like, chips, cheese, it's anything crunchy. So that at the time we were giving her a reward, to get her to calm down, it's hit or miss, honestly, really. One thing we would do to get her to calm down, she likes when you rub her arm like this, like roll light back and forth. We would do that and count to 10, and we'd say, okay, all done. We'd sign all done. She doesn't know sign language, but she knew all done for the sign. And then that, for some reason, got her to calm down. And that worked for a long time. Now, not so much. She's getting older. She knows, this is over with. I'm still going to be in the same situation after you rub my arm and tell me it's all done after 10 seconds. So, to get her to focus now, she's stubborn. Chloe will sit there and scream and cry and throw a fit and not want to do something, but she will do it as she's throwing a fit, if that makes any sense. So she holds a protest, basically, is what we would always say. She's protesting. She doesn't want to do this. She's going to let you know that she doesn't want to do this, but she's going to do it. So, for instance, she has to match her numbers. So we'll give her a 1. She obviously has to match it with 1. She will scream and cry the entire time, but she'll do it. She's going to let you know she doesn't want to do it. We basically just held out and be like, we're not moving. You're going to have to do this. And sometimes, for instance, on Wednesday, when we were at the presentation for the Variety Club, oh yeah, everybody, go get a Beaver County Times today. Chloe and I are in the Beaver County Times for the Variety Club. She got her iPad. Go get a Beaver County Times. And they jacked our name up. Big time, the last name. Like, jacked it up. So, but it is us. Our picture's in there. Go get one. But during that time, she flipped out for 45 minutes to an hour. There was no calming her down. I would try, usually when I get out my cell phone, it'll calm her down if I get on YouTube. She could flip through YouTube like crazy, but she can't use a fork. Autistic mind, I'm telling you. So that usually calms her down, like YouTube or some kind of music or food or water. Basically, if it gets too bad, I just remove her from the situation because it's detrimental to her and emotionally and physically. I don't want her hurting herself because she will scratch herself. That's like her go-to. If she gets frustrated enough and she gets upset enough, she'll scratch herself to where she bleeds. She'll dig her arm and her stomach and her chest out. She did it one time at school after swimming for some reason. She gets swimming on Thursdays at school. For some reason after swimming, she got so frustrated when she got out of the pool that she scratched herself. It looks like a cat mauled her when she got home. They could not calm her down at school, and they tried everything. Usually something sensory will calm her down. So I have like sensory ball. She has a sensory room at home, which that'll be a whole other video. I'll take you through her sensory room and why I have the things in there that I have. What I'd like to do with the sensory room. But usually something sensory, because if she's upset and having a meltdown, I could usually bring her out of it with something sensory, because she's so sensory seeking. It kicks it her meltdown usually, not all the time, but those are my go-tos: food, sensory items, and just removing her from the situation. But then another question I got asked: how do you know if your autistic child understands you? Sometimes I don't know if she understands me or not. She's pretty good with receptive language. She was not always this way. She's come a long way with that. If I would say, Chloe, come here, or she kind of knew, like, because I'd gesture, come here, and then I'd go grab her to come. I'd have to physically show her what I mean by saying, come here. Or, now if I say, get your shoes, go get your shoes. She'll stand there sometimes and look around like, I know you're talking to me, and I know you're telling me to get my shoes, but I don't know what in the heck are shoes. Like, I'm not sure what those are. And I'll even have to go up to her and look, these are your shoes. Grab your shoes. And she'll grab them like, okay, these are my shoes now. But sometimes I'll say, get your coat, and she knows what her coat is. She doesn't, I don't know if she always understands me, because obviously she can't talk. So that's a hit or miss. Her receptive language is a hit or miss sometimes. But if I just show her, then she picks up pretty quick. I'll say, during school, like, she knows what her hat is now. I'll say, get your hat, put your hat on. But I usually have to show her, like, put your hat on, or like, put your coat on and zip it up. Like, I have to physically show her for her to understand me. Because other than that, she's still lost. For instance, when her dinner's done, I'll say, get your plate. She'll grab off the plate to the plate, like, look, this is your plate, get your plate. But if we do that repetitively over and over and over again, eventually it'll stick in her mind, and she'll know, hopefully someday, what a plate is. So that's my goal with her, at least. And then I got asked, how do you know what they need from you? I don't always know what she needs from me. She'll come up to me, and this is, okay, I'll give you background. Since she's nonverbal, her iPad right now needs uploaded at school. We don't have it. We will use it, obviously, when it gets, all her tiles on it and everything. But for the past, umpteen years, I guess, the way we would know what she wanted is she grabs my hand and takes me to something. If she's hungry, there's a blue jay in my yard now. Sorry, guys, I'm fascinated. I got birds everywhere. It's wonderful. There's two. Sorry, I'm so sorry. So she'll grab my hand, and take me to something. If she's hungry, she takes me to the fridge. She's very independent. She's very, very, very independent. Usually, she'll just open up the fridge and get what she wants. If she wants milk, she'll open up the fridge, she'll grab the gallon of milk, and she'll bring it to me. That's how I know she wants milk. If she wants chips, she'll take me to the refrigerator. I keep them on top of the fridge. She'll push my hand up towards the top of the fridge. Now there's about 5 or 6 different kinds up there. I know from just being around her all the time, she just likes plain chips. But sometimes she does not always want those. I'll have to literally grab every single bag and show her, is this what you want? And she'll push it away if she doesn't want it. If she does, she'll walk away from me. That's how I know if she wants it. If it is something that she wants, she'll just walk away. And I know to follow her, because usually she got a bowl near her somewhere. If she wants water, she now gets her own water out of the fridge. She'll open up the fridge. We have a dispenser in the fridge. She'll get her own water. But if she wants to go to bed, usually she'll just walk upstairs and put herself to bed now. That was not always the case. We had to tell her, do you want to go night-night? And she knows what night-night is. She'll walk upstairs and go to bed. But if she wants something, I'll know that's what she needs from me. She'll actually physically take me to it and push my hand towards what she wants. She doesn't point. Chloe does not point. She doesn't know how to point. It took us forever to try and get her to use her pointer finger on the iPad and speech devices and things of that nature. Little tip, if your child is having trouble pointing, get a mitten and cut the hole out where the pointer finger is and cut the thumb out. And keep all these fingers inside the mitt. That's why this is the only thing that's showing. And it made her keep her fingers back and only use her pointer finger to do what she needed to do. And then we just trained her hand basically to point. And then eventually, we weaned her off probably about 3 or 4 months of only every time she wanted to use a speech device or iPad or anything, stuck the glove on. You're going to learn to point. Of course, obviously, I can't keep a mitten on her 24 hours a day. She has to use her hands. So that's still a struggle. She doesn't point. So she can't, point to something to me. She shoves my hand towards it, and that's how I know what she wants. But, and then, what else did I get asked? Oh, how do you deal with her being nonverbal? That's how we deal with her being nonverbal. She tells us what she wants in other ways. She finds a way to let you know what she wants. If she's hurting, that's a whole other animal. I don't know if she's hurting or not. I have no clue what's hurting, where it's hurting. She cannot tell me. She cannot show me. If she has a headache, I don't know. If she has a sore throat, I don't know. If her stomach hurts, I don't know. Unless she throws up, obviously. But if she is sick, I don't know what she's feeling. I have to guess. It's a complete guessing game all the time. So that's a huge struggle of her being nonverbal. That's probably the biggest thing. And then, she can't come home and tell me how her day was at school. I had a bad day. Well, why did you have a bad day? She can't tell me that. She comes home, and that's probably, what I think neurotypical parents take for granted. Your kid can come home and tell you, oh, and I had a good day at school and we did this and we did that. I don't know what she did at school. I have no clue. I send her off to school and she comes home and I don't know what happened that day. I get a letter home from her teacher every day. Chloe had swimming today. Chloe had OT and PT today. She had a good day. Other than that, I don't know what happened. So I would love for her to be able to come home from school and say, Mom, we colored a picture today and I learned some letters today and I did this in OT today. I learned how to write my name, which Chloe's still learning how to write. She can't, she has to have a special holder on her pencil to keep her hand like this and to write. So she's still working on that. But I'd love for her to be able to come home and tell me, you know, I did this today, I did that today. That'd be amazing. But that's a long way off. That's a long way off. Then I get asked, do you think she will speak one day? I hope she'll speak one day. I don't know that. You know, she may be nonverbal the rest of her life. I don't know. I hope not. But to physically hear her voice, you know, not through not through a computer. That's my hope one day, is to physically hear her voice. And then I guess, well, what's your biggest fear of her? It's her getting older. You know, once she hits 21, she's out of the system. She's completely out of the system. All of her services stop. You know, all of her services stop once she turns 21. There is no more help for her. So I need to pump as much help into her right now as possible, because her time is ticking, and it's sad. And this is for all special needs kids, and this is really what needs to change. Once they turn 21, it's gone. All your services are gone. No more school, no more help. You know, she's just going on disability. I'm going to have a 21-year-old child on disability. And it sucks. It sucks that this is her future. You know, and there needs to be more help after the age of 21. Like, just because they turn 21 doesn't mean that their autism goes away or their special need goes away. That's just ridiculous. So, she's going to get disability. Okay. That's not going to help her. You know, she needs services. She needs someone to come into the home still and to help her. You know, I can help her as much as I can, but I'm not a therapist. I'm a mom, you know, and sometimes I'm not always the person she needs. And there's things that she'll do with Amber, and there's things that she'll do with her teacher, Hannah, that she's not going to do with me because I'm mom. So somebody else from the outside coming in makes a huge difference, believe it or not. You know, it's like, well, can't you do those services with her? Can't you sit down with her and do whatever she needs after she turns 21? Yeah, I can, but is she going to receive it? Is she going to take it in from me because I'm mom? I don't know that. So that's my biggest fear is her future. You know, and what's going to happen to me, or what's going to happen to her if something happens to me. You know, I'm a Chloe expert. Nobody else is, you know, except Dad, but I take her to all her appointments, and, you know, I know ins and outs of everything. And if something happens to me in Matt, if she has to, you know, she's going to have to go into a home. And it's sad. I'm talking about putting my 6-year-old child in a home when she gets older, if something happens to her father and I. Because, you know, if something happens to her dad and I and her grandparents, you know, hopefully Matthew will step in. But if you know, God forbid, we don't know if he's autistic or not yet still. So it's like, there's a lot that she needs to, you know, deal with upcoming in the future, you know. And she's going to be 7 this year, so puberty's coming too. That's another fear of mine. How do you explain your child, you know, who can't talk and doesn't understand her menstrual cycle or why her body's changing? She's no clue what I'm talking about. No clue. I cannot explain that to her. And her hormones are going to be changing, which is going to just, oh, I don't even want to think about it right now. It's going to suck. So my biggest fear is her future. Big time. And I'll delve into that more in another video. But, so that is where I'm going to end for today. That's all the questions I have. So, probably not going to post this weekend. I'll start back up on Monday. So, hope everybody has a good weekend. Go to the Maple Syrup Festival, get a newspaper, and I will see everybody on Monday.